News 46 is brought to you by Inspiration Senior Living, where we provide affordable elegance to Pahrump area seniors. Give us a call at 751-2300 and make an appointment to tour our community. News is also brought to you by Dr. George Leeks, Pahrump's optometrist since 1990, offering full-spectrum eye care for children and adults. Call today, 727-8300. News is also brought to you by J.K. Nelson Law. Call 727-9900 today for your free consultation. If you need a lawyer, you need Nelson.
Tonight on News 46, a former deputy attorney general is arrested. The Senate passes the governor's tax increase, and Desert View Hospital is now smoke-free. News 46 starts now.
You're watching KPVM News 46 with Deanna O'Donnell. News 46, local coverage you can count on.
Good evening. It's Monday, June 1st, 2015. I'm Deanna O'Donnell. 41-year-old Alfred Gonzalez has been taken into custody and charged with assault with a deadly weapon, domestic violence, injury to property, possession of a firearm by a prohibited person, discharging a firearm into a vehicle, harassment, and stalking. According to the Nye County Sheriff's Department, Gonzalez had reportedly discharged a firearm into a parked vehicle and fled the scene on May 29th on West Gerald Street. Police say this all stemmed from a domestic dispute between Gonzalez and his former fiancée. Gonzalez also, according to police, went to the location after he initially left and caused another disturbance. Then he reportedly arrived at a home on Wilson Street where he allegedly threatened residents and threatened a female shortly after at a home on Vicky Ann Road, according to the report. Deputies located Gonzalez's vehicle outside Horizon Market on Linda Street and Highway 372 later that day. He was inside the store at the time and taken into custody. Nye County Sheriff's deputies, detectives, and SWAT officers served a search warrant at 5841 East Alfano Avenue following a month-long investigation that indicated narcotics were being used and sold from this residence. Two individuals, 28-year-old Timothy Ryan Trefinger and 36-year-old Jesse James Lewis, were located inside the home. The subsequent search of the premises produced heroin and various types of other drug paraphernalia. Both were taken into custody. Trefinger's fiancée, Jennifer Marsden, was not at home at the time and is being sought for questioning in this case. Trefinger is a former deputy attorney general who prosecuted criminal cases in Nye County as well as Mineral and Esmeralda counties. The Nevada Senate this morning joined Assembly in passing Governor Brian Sandoval's $1.1 billion tax plan with less than 2 days left in the legislative session. The plan, contained in SB 483, now goes to the governor for his signature. Senators voted 18-3 today to support the bill, which combines business taxes with an increase in the cigarette tax. The Assembly voted 30-10 on Sunday to approve the taxes. The taxes are part of Sandoval's effort to put millions of dollars into education initiatives targeting English language learners, children in poverty, and other at-risk groups. We spoke to Commissioner Butch Boraski this morning, who wanted to comment on the bill and our local representatives.
Well, unfortunately, the state legislature just passed the largest tax increase in Nevada history. A lot of it's on the back of business people. They've doubled the business licenses and all kinds of things like that. And you know, they were given a budget that had no tax increases, and they totally ignored it. So we have two representatives there, James Oscarson and Pete Gicochia, and I wish them well if either one of them runs again, because they won't get elected in Nye County.
Because they voted for this?
Yes.
Is this the one that Governor Brian Sandoval has been trying to do for education?
Yes, but most of it's for education, but you can't keep throwing money at education and solve the problem. There's root problems that need to be dealt with, and they're not dealing with them. Keep more money every year, every other year, and it doesn't seem to solve the problem. There's some root causes need to be dealt with down deep, and the way the teachers are, the way the unions are set up, and everything else.
All right, and anything else you want to add?
Well, again, I wish them well if they try to run for re-election, because I definitely won't support them, neither will the party. So.
and Assemblyman James Oscarson sent out his response today. Governor Brian Sandoval set the tone of this legislative session when he declared that the Senate and Assembly must transform Nevada with substantial reforms in education, healthcare, tort law, construction, collective bargaining, economic development, and more, he says. The status quo was no longer acceptable. By combining choice, accountability, and new investment, Nevada's educational system will be on its way to becoming the envy of the nation. He says that he knows that we will be asking for more sacrifice from those who already do so much, and he applauds that sacrifice and hopes to honor it with the work they have done this session. Still, it became painfully obvious that he would not be able to do justice to Nevada's future without additional investment. When we return, your Desert View Hospital health tip.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Inspiration Senior Living, where we provide affordable elegance to Pahrump area seniors. Give us a call at 751-2300 and make an appointment to tour our community.
Welcome back. The thyroid gland makes hormones that regulate metabolism. The thyroid also has other important effects throughout the body. An overactive thyroid can increase the risk of osteoporosis and fractures. A new study examined whether the risk of these fractures also increases among patients with only mild abnormalities of the thyroid, those who have not developed any physical symptoms as a result of having too much or too little thyroid hormone.
This health tip is brought to you by
Desert View Hospital and Mountain Valley Physicians Group. Don't put your health on hold. We have time for you. Call us to schedule your appointment, 775-751-7100.
Thyroid is a butterfly-shaped gland, and it sits right at the base of your neck. The thyroid can cause problems both from overactivity or from underactivity.
An underactive thyroid can cause constipation, unexplained weight gain, or fatigue. An overactive thyroid can do the opposite. Symptoms might include weight loss, anxiety, and heart palpitations. Too much thyroid hormone can also increase the risk for osteoporosis and fractures. But for people who only have mild abnormalities in their thyroid activity and don't have any of these symptoms, do they also increase their risk for fractures?
Can you swallow, please?
Dr. Ann Coppola from the University of Pennsylvania and co-authors examined the results of 13 individual research studies that included more than 70,000 patients from all over the world. All patients had testing of their thyroid hormone levels and were followed for an average of 12 years to see whether or not they experienced fractures.
We found that 3% had a slightly overactive thyroid, 5% had a slightly underactive thyroid. Those who had the slightly overactive thyroid were more likely to have hip fractures and more likely to have any kind of fracture. The people who had just a little bit underactive thyroid didn't have any fracture risk at all from having that thyroid problem.
Currently, routine thyroid screening is not recommended.
If someone has a slightly overactive thyroid, that's something that needs to be paid attention to. What it suggests is if somebody has an increased risk of fracture from having a slightly overactive thyroid, that perhaps if we were to correct that and treat that, we could prevent fractures.
Catherine Dolph, The JAMA Report.
The average age of patients that underwent thyroid testing was 64, and 61% were women. Desert View Hospital and all of its properties, including Mountain Valley Physicians Group, DaVita Dialysis, and Desert View Hospital Physical Therapy, are now smoke-free.
We are celebrating our campus officially going tobacco and smoke-free.
What does that mean?
So what that means is that the hospital itself has always, of course, been tobacco-free. So there's never been any smoking of any sorts, including vaping, inside of our facility. But now we are extending that to our entire campus. So that includes our parking lots, it includes the fields that surround the hospital, as well as the sidewalks. So it means that as of today, we're asking anybody who comes to visit our campus, whether they're a patient, a visitor, an employee, vendors, anybody, that they extinguish any of their cigarettes or refrain from vaping, chewing tobacco, those sorts of things while they're on our property.
You have an ashtray still outside.
We do. You know, we realize that some people, especially during this transitional time, are going to be in their cars smoking a cigarette, and we want them to have a place to extinguish that. So there are signs on the trash cans that have the ashtrays that ask people to please extinguish their butts as soon as they arrive on our campus. Ideally, we would like them to extinguish them, though, before they get here.
And hoping that they're not going to be littering out there in the parking lot, so you guys have provided these for them. This is all part of being healthy and also just showing people a healthier lifestyle.
Exactly. You know, as a hospital, we try to be a leader in the community with healthcare, of course. And so this is a step that we've been working on for quite a while. Dr. Lopez, who is one of our hospitalists here, he was the big advocate for this, so he's the driving force behind this. He really wanted to make sure that our patients and our visitors got the best treatment that they could have and that they recover as best as they can. And then, of course, for anybody who comes, we want the cleanest air to aid in that recovery.
And if people need help in stopping smoking?
There are all sorts of resources that we have here today. We have the American Lung Association, of course the hospital has a booth set up, the American Cancer Society and the 9 Communities Coalition are here today until 2. And then we also, of course, will have information for people. We recently ended a smoking cessation class that the coalition ran for us. We'll be holding another one in the future too.
And for more information, they can give the hospital a phone call?
They sure can. They can call our main number and ask to talk to me, Megan.
We now introduce you to our third contestant for Miss Senior Golden Years USA, Patty Perez.
Hi, I'm Patty Perez, and I'm contestant number 3, and I'm running for Miss Senior Golden Years here in Pahrump, held June 6th at Saddle West. I am happily married to a wonderful man for 36 years. We have 12 grandchildren. And we've been in Pahrump here for 2 years, and we absolutely love it. And I hope to see everyone out on June 6th at 7 o'clock at Saddle West. Thank you.
Well, Bruce Jenner's changed his name. We'll tell you all about it when we return.